Hello, guys. Hope you can hear us well. So let's kick it off. Today we'll speak about the journey to a stable Magento store. Yeah, so to start about us, we are not a professional speakers, right? As Marius mentioned, we are passionate e-commerce guys. We work with e-commerce on day-to-day basis. That's me on the left. My name is Glebs, and that's Rolands on the right. His name is Rolands. As you can understand from our images, like working on day-to-day with e-commerce is not the usual stuff. I'm eating some meat in a shower. Rolands is a king, so it's not usual thing to do. Actually, why we are here today? Overall, as a company, we have spent more than 3,000 development hours on e-commerce optimization and development. It's more than 340 years as such spent just on e-commerce. And give it even another perspective, it's same as going around the globe for 136 times from here in Riga and going around the globe, getting back right here at the same place. That's quite a time. And overall, throughout this journey, we have processed more than 10,000 support requests for Magento merchants. And today we want to share with you main 10 pillars to keep your Magento store stable. So we analyzed all these 10,000 requests and figure out what are the things what can help you to make the store more stable. These are not all possible things out there. You definitely are doing a lot of things already, but we try to focus on some things which are not so usual, which are not regular ones, but definitely there are some more. But Rolands will share now with you our finding from this 10,000 request analysis. Rolands, please.
Right. So if we break down the requests, what we can see is that on most of the requests are regular maintenance. We're talking patches, upgrades, quick fixes. Those take almost 40% of all of the requests you will have as a merchant. But fortunately, they are not the most effort. Effort is not the most required for those. The most effort goes naturally to new features, both backend and the UX. Additionally, you can't miss on infrastructure requests, that's the least amount of them, and performance and digital marketing. You can find additional information that we gathered on these topics by scanning the QR code or visiting our Scandiweb blog to check the article itself and read all about it. Today, as Glebs mentioned, we will be focusing on the specific pillars that we think are the most important to keep on your project to keep it stable. So Glebs, let's start with the first one, finding bugs.
Here I am again, guys. So find and destroy any bugs. It can sound very obvious, and actually we had exactly the same slide 2 years ago. So you may think that we're doing nothing here, but actually I would emphasize that it's really important thing. It may be obvious, but want to remind you 4 things what you need to do to really find it. As such, why it's important to find the bugs? Because usability really burns your money. You shouldn't process to any top of the funnel optimization while you have not fixed the core of the things. There's a hierarchy of customer needs. As you can see at the very bottom, like customer expect that it's the website, the solution simply works on his devices and the browsers. While at the very top, there are all the marketing things, like marketers usually prefer to install on the website some fancy tricks. You really shouldn't go to the top while you haven't fixed the core, right? So what to do? Just find all the bugs. It may sound really complex, and this image may feel really simple, but it's not so easy on practice. So we have 4 hints how to do it. First of all, look into the data. It's not just about going into Google Analytics, but it's really about segmenting the data. Since in very deep segments, you can find some unusual things. Here's a story to share about it. On this slide, you can see how we have analyzed one of the merchants when they came to us, and very strange thing was spotted, that Safari in-app browser is converting much less than all other browsers. So what we did, we just took the real device, opened it from Instagram, from one of the ads, checked the website there, and what we spotted, that 3 out of 4 payment methods were unresponsive, specifically in Safari in-app. That's, I would say, interesting finding, which definitely helped our client at the very end. So what to do? You need to segment by device, operating system, browser versions, and look for some unusual data patterns, abnormalities. That's where you find very interesting things. If you believe you're fine there, please go on to analytics now and dive deeper into segments. I'm quite sure you'll find some unusual things there. Secondly, you may find these unusual patterns in data, but then what to do? You don't have these real devices. Again, here's a simple solution. Just go to the browser stack or AWS device farm and use the real devices to test on real devices, not just some simulators. Third thing is, as we all know, the cost of the bug becomes much higher when it comes to the production. So we want to spot the bugs as soon as possible. Therefore, you need to have a proper release management plan. Rolands will share about it a bit later, and overall have all the basics in place as unit tests whenever possible, or smoke tests, logic compliant by your QA team. That's a very simple message. Just do everything possible not to let the bug get to the production. And the last thing, use your customer support as a great tool to get information about customer bugs. When we analyze the Facebook chats, contact forms, live chats, we find there's so many things, useful things about some specific credit cards which aren't working, or some specific use case reported by real users which aren't working in practice. So just pick with your customer services, get the raw data from them and analyze it. Release planning, Rolands.
Right. So to continue Gleb's message about avoiding bugs on your store live, there are some good practices that you can do during your release planning and execution as well. And first of all, you want to have a fixed release scope. You don't want nothing unexpected going out, because you can't plan for it and you can't prepare the testing efforts required for this scope unless you know, in fact, at the start what you will be developing. So what can you do in terms of testing? This is something that everyone already mostly does. It's individual feature manual testing. And here we have individual task, well-described one, and it contains the how to test scenario, which are exact steps you have to take in order to confirm that the feature that is developed is working as expected. To take it further, you would create the release test cases. So you could imagine that you have 5 features, and this release test case table contains all of the possible test cases for these features to ensure that it works well. Again, we have the same how to test scenarios step by step to allow anyone having this table to test it. Here you can involve your client. You can, of course, involve your QAs, and all the parties involved can confirm that the release is ready. Another thing that you can do is user journey testing. Here you want to make sure that not only the features that you are releasing, but also the features that you have on your website besides that are working before your release and also afterwards. So we suggest that you do it both on your demo environments and after the release on your live environments. As a tool for this one, we suggest using TestLog. There you can define these user journey tests, do runs on them, see the history of success. Yeah, in general, a great tool. Code freeze. During the sales periods, we want to avoid bugs at all. Therefore, a great practice to do is having a code freeze during this period, having developers develop the features in peace, and once the sales period is over, you can then deploy it without affecting sales. Right, to the next pillar, we have proactive KPIs.
Me. I'm back, guys, and these are proactive KPIs and monitoring. We all monitor something on our websites, on our infrastructure. But what I want to share is there's 3 things which were helping us recently. Is like overall the reason for monitoring is for sure to be informed before something bad it happens. Wouldn't you want to get an SMS or email just automatically if sales are becoming to drop? It's not yet a big boom, but they're just starting to drop. I believe any merchants would want to do it, and therefore there are 2 solutions what we have in place for it. It's either can be done on AWS. AWS have machine learning, and it can predict what's your sales for the next hour, 2 hours, week, whatever, and then inform you in case you are not you're above or below the limits. Simple solution can be with Google BigQuery and Google Sheets integration, so you can simply export all the information in spreadsheets in real time. Actually, BigQuery allows to do it in real time, and then also get email notifications in case sales are dropping. That's very useful thing to track not only infrastructure performance, but real sales performance, since that's what's most important for the business. Then similar SMS can be received for user activities changing. For example, you will be informed that you are starting to get less traffic from Google, or less from overall, less people getting through the second step of the checkout. It also all can be automated with BigQuery help and Google Analytics 4, and you can get same useful emails. And it's a last thing, I believe we all are doing certain performance infrastructure monitoring. We for sure do it as well. But what we find useful is to start tracking not just based on some generic metrics, but tracking against your competitors. Your Lighthouse score, Updex scores, overall main performance KPIs, track them comparing to your 10 competitors out there. Then it will be much more meaningful than just some generic KPIs. Let's go further.
4th pillar, cron jobs. We're all familiar with them. Why? Because failing crons is failing business processes. You can see crons hold the Magento for most stores. Why? Because they are responsible for customer exports, products imports, stock update, order export, and more. So these processes are very important. You can agree on that, and you want to make sure that if something is not working as expected with them, you want to know firsthand. How can you do it? What we suggest is using a module that directly installs on your Magento. It's called Cronitor, and what it does, it can send you a ping to your Slack or your email informing that one or multiple of your crons are acting weird. It can be either it died or it is taking too long and is stuck. With this ping, you can immediately assign someone and resolve the issue and avoid having unpleasant e-commerce experience for your users. Right, to the next pillar, Glebs.
Automated tag SEO checks. As such, for most of the business, organic search brings a lot of money in. And it's very simple that you start losing this money if you discover SEO bugs too late, specifically technical SEO. Here's a story I want to share. It's quite practical. You can see a big drop right on this image. It happened after layer navigation functionality was changed, and basically it was changed without proper SEO planning in place. And Googlebot started to crawl layer navigation pages which were supposed to be non-indexable actually. And then all the clicks, impressions in Google for product listing pages, product pages, it just dropped. And as you can see, it happened for quite a long time until it was spotted by the team. For it not to happen, we have a suggestion to use the Content King tool, which will proactively inform you of any technical SEO changes on the website. It can report you on thousands of different SEO issues, and you can react on them right away. So you can really sleep well knowing that your tech SEO won't be bothering your sales.
Sixth pillar, integration statuses. Magento is not the only thing you want to take care of. There's a lot of integrations that go into your Magento store. So you want to make sure that after releases, during your development, they are up and running and everything is going smooth there. So what can you do about it? Monitoring and logging. You want to ensure that you have monitors checking the health of each of the integration server, that they are up and running. For that, you could use Prometheus and Grafana to display graphs of CPU, RAM usage on those servers, check if there's peak usages. Maybe some servers are running out of resources, so you can increase them. There's also a lot of other apps that can help you with that. As well, you have Amazon CloudWatch, which can help you a lot with having centralized logging systems. So all of the integrations that you have send the logs to one place, and you can find all of them there, filter by error, identify the problem and resolve it in case that happens. To the next pillar.
We are close to the end, and here is number 7, monthly health check. And it's not just about some checks or practice monitoring, which we spoke previously, but it's about having a stable process on revision on the monthly basis. And there are 3 main things what we suggest to revise is, first of all, technical health check, ensuring your website is not losing any tech ranks out there. So all the security patches are in place, like Sedin is working properly, all important tech aspects of your Magento store. Usually it's server, application, performance, security. Then traffic acquisition, also, while you definitely have another team looking on it, technical team should definitely follow it, just knowing, are you getting more organic traffic or your paid campaigns are not working now? You also can act on it accordingly, for example, increase infrastructure resources. And the third one is the UX score. So it's also suggested to revise it not once, let's say on a big redesign phase, but revise it on the monthly basis, page by page, ensuring that you have all the best practice applied. We actually have a template for it. So if you're interested, just drop us email. You can reach out me and Rolands in LinkedIn or whatever else. We'll share you we will show you templates how we are doing that. 8.
Close to the end. 8 is checkout automated testing. Let's be honest, checkout testing can become exhausting. Let's imagine you have 5 shipping methods, 5 payment methods, 2 user types, guests and registered ones. That's already 15 ways to complete checkout. Before every release and after it, you want to ensure that checkout is working. That's the vital part of your e-commerce. So what can you do about it? You can set up automated testing. What we have used in our projects is the following tech stack, which allows you to mimic any user interaction. So the tools used for it is a library called Puppeteer. It's a high-level API that controls Chromium, basically a web browser, through DevTools protocol. And you write the test scenarios in a Mocha framework. And basically what you would do is write all those 50 ways of checking the checkout, making an order with these testing scenarios, running them before and after releases, and having the results, whether they went good or there was a problem, without you actually manually checking anything. Right, okay, to the 9th one. Glebs, where are you?
That's last slide from me, so I'm coming under the table. And it's actually quite a boring slide, so I'm trying to entertain you with certain things out here. As such, in a constant revision of infrastructure and security, it's kind of basic thing, but many forget about it. And here are just 5 points what we suggested to revise right today. For example, you definitely want to know who flashed the cache admin panel, or maybe someone changed the payment details somewhere. So ensure you have the admin action logger available in the backend. You also want to ensure there is no some hacker within your organization. So review an admin user policy, ensure there are correct roles, groups, each user having single login, have 2-factor authentication and IP whitelist configured for your admin panel. Same, ensure all the latest security patch installed. And the last basic thing, for how many of your stores there is admin URL/admin. Ensure your admin URL is not admin. Make it really random one. If you're not sure what to put it /Glebs Rolands. It will be less guessable than admin.
Right, and the final pillar. The final pillar is just the thing that all of it does not matter unless you implement at least one. To be honest, these 10 pillars, we don't have any project. We haven't seen any project that has all of them. Therefore, we have a lot of projects that follow 3 pillars. We have a lot of projects that follow 5 of them, but not all of them. Therefore, starting with at least one is already a start, and we highly encourage you taking that step to a more stable Magento experience. With that, I want to say thank you, Glebs.
Thank you, everyone. That's it from us with Rolands. And actually today we are the last one at the stage. And I wanted to tell thank you for being second day together.